Hey guys, what's happening? Another kick-ass bike from the J Wood collection here. This is his personal Kawasaki KX250F. He was a 220-pound vet rider, and this is a typical vet rider bike where no expense was spared on the build. Starting at the front of the bike, it's got the RG3 triple clamps, which are about a $600 set. It's got a set of Renthal bars. It has the Pro Taper grips. It has the Sunline lever, unbreakable lever. The forks were sent out to factory connection, involved and sprung for a 220-pound rider and totally rebuilt.
This is a fresh rebuild.
Oh, fresh rebuild. He went through the whole thing front to back. He put over $6,000 into the bike on top of the cost of the bike. The the rear end, check this out on the shock, Ken. You got to take a peek at this. It's got a factory connection shock on it, factory connection rebuild shock. And look closely. You can see it has the anodized adjusters, the red spring. And see this piece right here? This is a remote reservoir for added cooling on the remote reservoir of the shock. It plugs in right on the side of the shock right here. Very expensive upgrade between the front and rear suspension. He's put a substantial amount of money into this bike. He went through all the bearings, all the swing arm bearings, all the linkage bearings. Everything is in brand new condition. There's no flex or anything anywhere. The chain and sprockets is a Renthal chain wheels with a top of the line TM Design Works chain guide. It's got these really beefy tusk pegs. First things I noticed when I hop on the bike, they grip the pegs, they grip your boots really nice. That's just the running gear and suspension. The plastics and graphics is mint. It's got a Pro Circuit seat on it, Renthal bar pad. So it's set up for racing. Again, typical vet rider. Went through the whole thing. He didn't want to ride a 450, so he bought a 250, and he had there's a local race shop. There's a shop. There's only one shop, one track in Connecticut that's certified by the New England Sports Committee to race on, and that's Central Cycle. And the guy who does all the work for the riders there is the Moto Lab, themotolab.com. Tom builds all the engines. He went through this engine, split the cases, balanced the crankshaft, did the fresh new piston and flow bench the heads. It has the R&D carb float bolt on there, twin air filter, ported the heads, went through the entire motor. He put thousands of dollars into the motor. Everything's fresh. It's got about 4 hours on the rebuild, and it runs like a brand new bike. So
the guy who rebuilt this bike used to build my best friend Ethan Howard's motors growing up. He raced motocross for about 6 years. He built all of his motors.
All the super minis and everything.
And he's really well known here in New England.
If you race a bike at Central Village, you know the Moto Lab. He builds the ultimate race engines. This one was done, no expense spared, titanium valves, the whole 9 yards. He dynoed it and liked the performance of the stock exhaust, so it's got the stock factory exhaust. The forks have the DLC coating on them. And again, this is another case where money was not an issue. 45-year-old rider wanted the best of everything, and he built it and hardly ever rode it. It's got maybe 10 hours total ride time. So buy a like-new bike with over $12,000 invested in it for pennies on the dollar.
It's ready to race, and it's going to be offered at a very...
Let me give you a quick demo. This thing's a hoot to ride. It handles like a dream. It's set up perfectly for me. I'm 6'2", 220, and I couldn't ask for more. The suspension's on point. I'll tell you, the older I get, the more I realize a 250 is an awesome weapon for off-road. You're not going to get tired out that quickly, and they hook up like crazy. So, and they corner on a dime. I don't want to tear the lawn up too bad. We've done so much damage here. So I'm going to take a quick rip up the street here. Sounds awesome. Runs like a brand new bike. Essentially is a brand new bike. No time on it. That's not your average 250, folks. This thing's a ripper. It'll rev to the moon. Corners extremely well. Very agile. have an event coming this weekend, so I don't want to tear up the lawn. We've got the second annual Hockenham Brewfest coming up. That's what all these tents are for over here. We've got 35 microbreweries coming. Not to change the subject, but it's been a busy day today. We met with the the police chief this morning, and my attorney regarding the crosswalk. Then we had a meeting with our architect, and then a meeting with the guys from the Brewfest. So it's gonna be a big weekend here. Got the popo over there, so don't want to push our luck with the police. I don't want to rip up the lawn because we have a Brewfest this weekend, so I think you get the idea. The thing hauls ass. Let's bring it in. Wow. But besides this thing willing to rev to the moon and shifting and braking and handling absolutely perfect, what stood out to me up on the track is the suspension is incredible. It's set up perfectly, for my weight. And man, I forgot how good these things turn after riding all the big CR500s. Did you ride this thing, Kenny?
I did. No, the corner's like a dream. I was surprised, actually. But it's set up nicely. It's ready to roll.
You take this right out to the racetrack. This needs nothing. If you take this out and you don't win in a 250F class, it's your own damn fault. Look in the mirror, because this bike is ready to win a race right out of the box. It's not going to cost you a fortune, and it's going to give you a lot of good use. Everything's on point. The shifter's nice and crisp. The levers are nice. You can tell when a bike is clapped out, and you can tell when a bike is fresh. This bike's fresh. Very low hours. Owned by a 45-year-old, 5'8", 220-pound guy, a little chubby, who didn't send it that much, Wasn't actually racing it the way a young kid like Kenny would have destroyed this thing in the season. Yeah, this is like a brand new bike. It's been babied by a vet rider who spared no expense. Good luck bidding on it. God bless America.